Do you think most people are good?
Message to all users. This is a reminder to please read and follow our rules Reddit content policy when posting and commenting. Especially remember Rule 1. Be polite and civil. Be polite and courteous to each other. Do not be mean, insulting, or disrespectful to any other user on this subreddit. Do not harass or annoy others in any way. Do not catfish. Catfishing is the luring of somebody into an online friendship through a fake online persona. This includes any lying or deceit. You will be banned if you are homophobic, transphobic, racist, sexist, or bigoted in any way. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit if you had any questions or concerns.
I'm thinking like you. The world seems to be moving in a direction of self-centeredness.
Yes, I've been one to heavily lean into pessimistic views for most of my life, but I've learned that most people are good. Most people have some sense of manners and caring attitude when actually spoken to and put into positions of responsibility. We all have things we disagree with. We can get lost in the pit of morals and politics. But at the end of the day, the person you may think death of is likely a chill dude when it comes down to it. What matters is how diehard you are to your values. I can respect someone who sticks to their guns, no matter the social sacrifices, but at a certain point it isn't healthy. I support abortion, and there's nothing but hostility between people on each side of the topic. But I don't hate people who are against it. No matter how strongly I feel on my view, we're all people at the end of the day, and we all have our stances on what we believe is right. To top it all off, the top 1% of the world are the genuine evil pieces of shit. I'd rather spend my energy on fucking them over than someone I disagree with on a political topic. The more we bicker, the more they sleep well. Being chronically online can give you a warped view on the world. Negativity gets views, and it can be hard to escape it. You can see anybody as the antichrist with enough echo chambers and pessimism. A few years ago I'd say no, but no more. I'm an optimistic realist these days.
As you get older, you realize everyone has an agenda.
No, people suck.
No, people are naturally bad. There used to be a time where people were more motivated to try to be good, but now it seems like no one cares if they're bad or not.
I think most people are very good and well-intentioned. I found that when people experience trauma, they start protecting themselves in weird ways from experiencing it again. Just part of the human experience. Be a safe person for people to be around, and you'll see how great even some of the worst people can be. What do you mean? It's just an American thing.
I do. I look at 99% of children and think you're perfect. They grow older and the world molds them, and then the evil comes. Some contain it, some reject it, some don't even experience it. But then there are some that succumb to it, and those children/people are the ones who are hurting the most. They deserve the most grace and compassion because they have lost the innocence they were born with and have been consumed by evil. Humanity is inherently good. But the world, that shit's fucked.
I think most people are bad and have ill intentions, so many disappointing and upsetting mannerisms, morals and actions, innocent until proven guilty. I think otherwise.
Now, wouldn't call them outright evil, but a lot of them indeed are assholes. I find that most people mean well. Good intentions backed by corrupted reasoning, however, is pretty much indistinguishable from just being an awful person.
I want beyond all belief to think that people are inherently good. I think a more accurate representation of my observation is that people are drawn to repeating behaviors they feel rewarded for performing, whatever the reward turns out to be for them.
I think most have always looked out for their own self-interests. I just think that until the pandemic we paid more attention on hiding it.
I believe most people are good, Luke Bryan.
Hell fucking no.
No, I don't. Quite the opposite.
I think being a good person is an active choice, not a natural behavior. Some people have it their nature to be kind, but for the most part, the less reason someone has to actively try to do the right thing at even the most basic levels of common courtesy, the less likely they are to try society. has taken another backstep recently, and it's become more acceptable to be an ass, which is nothing new since society always goes full circle every other decade on what is acceptable. And what isnt dot if everyone around you is an ass? It's just easier to join the competition.
Yes.
Number. People are cunts. They're also good. Depends on which side of them you choose to focus on.
In their core, people are good, but the surface seems superficial.
So I have had this as conversation piece for a while, and this definitely isn't going to help, but it's fun to debate. So I believe that people can be nice people without being good people, which would make the assessment of good very difficult to assess. For instance, I am constantly told that I'm a nice person, even too nice. I take any chance I can to help people. I treat my employees well. I don't argue with people or raise my voice. Help you move act. But I am also an adulterer, drug addict, and have no problem breaking the law if it suits my needs, misdemeanor level stuff. So, if you apply this duality, at what level do your deeds make you a bad person? I usually describe myself as a nice person but not a good person. Not an answer but something to chew on.
Yes, most people are good. People just remember and talk about the bad. The news, all you hear about is the bad. All you remember are your bad experiences. You don't remember the guy who held the door open for you, or the person on an elevator who noticed you were having a bad day and decided to strike up a convo. You don't hear about some kids climbing in the sewers to save a kitten, or the person who stopped to help someone whose tire blew out on the side of the road. Most people are good. I think most people want to think they're good.
M69. Yes, but it's not noticed because the internet focuses on the negative. Humans have always had a mocking incentive in a social group. It's a popular value to be different and against a greater power or consensus. For example, the Beatles, Trump, racing cars, mass shooters, and such. Today it's exemplified in young people by, for example, wearing baggy pants, wearing baseball caps backwards, men wearing earrings, extensive tattooing. The envelope on this is pushing itself into name-calling, fights on airplanes, and such. These people all are good, but they are acting negatively today, more so in response to their condition, often economic. Jobs are leaving them, inflation is rising, the planet is warming, and people are growing fearful and lashing out. So it's either going against establishment in a leadership fashion that is popular with humans, or lashing out because they are honest and work hard but are still getting screwed. I'm not a sociologist or anything. It's just my conclusion based on empirical observations. But there are always exceptions. I'm just speaking generally.
No, they are not.
DuffDF, did this post get flagged?
I don't know. I don't think it's really that simple. I think most people are self-interested first and foremost, but that doesn't mean they won't go out of their way to help others. And honestly, self-interest gets a bad rap. It's fine in a vacuum. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who never acts like a dick, doesn't have some serious character flaws that hurt people around them and that they're unwilling to change, and doesn't have views that you think are harmful or evil. But I think they're still just making the best of their situation. They want the best for themselves and the people they care about, and they've dedicated themselves to trying to attain it.
In my circle of people, yeah, I'd say most are good. Some could use some work, haha, but they're all right.
Most people are good, but the world is tough, cruel, and we end up building unhealthy survival mechanisms that can make things harder on the people around us.
Humans are all sinful and in need of a savior. The thesis about humans being inherently good is false.
I hope. People's goodness varies, influenced by diverse factors. Global perceptions may differ, but kindness persists in individuals worldwide.
It's hard to say. Most of the people that I meet IRL seem like good people, but that's just their mask, so who knows? But a large number of people on the internet are human garbage. A lot of these are probably people who deem nice in person.
I think most people are trying their best to be good. Sometimes as we get older we do prioritize our own needs because we are feeling like we're halfway done with our life, so we deserve some happiness. Is that what you are seeing?
Ecclesiastes 7:28 in LT. Though I have searched repeatedly, I have not found what I was looking for. Only 1 out of 1,000 men is virtuous, but not 1 woman. So to answer your question, statistically, most people are not good.
I hate people.
I really don't know. I think I need to work on myself and see if a healthier me can attract different kinds of people than the ones I've been attracting before making that judgment. I don't just mean in a romantic context. I think I've been attracting a certain kind of person because that's what I'm used to, and because I didn't just walk away from the wrong people. So I've never really gotten a chance to meet the right ones, and if I have a lot to work on, how would I even attract the right ones? So yeah, maybe if I can get a little healthier as a person and meet more people, and I'm still having the same experiences, then maybe I can make a more qualified assumption. All I can say is that most of the people I've known have been manipulative people who enjoy using others. Most of them will say absolutely vicious shit about you and all their other friends, partners, family. Most of them will get people to fall in love with them just for the thrill of it, and then push and push to see how badly they can treat their partner. Most of them care more about appearances than substance. Have I met good people? Absolutely. Have I met many of them? No. But I can't rely on my experience right now until I open up the possibility of expanding my horizons. And it's not a simple thing like, just assume everyone is good, because I used to assume most people were good. I used to love everyone. I used to believe it until I realized how wrong I was. It does make me treasure the few decent people I've met that much more. The one thing I do know is, most people seem to justify death and violence if it's on a mass scale. As long as society pretends it's justified. If you disagree with this, people don't just tell you they think you're wrong. They talk to you like you're stupid at best or a terrible human being at worst for not wanting people to die. I think patterns like this in human behavior point towards a mostly bad outcome, but, like I said, until I've had the chance to meet more people as an actual healthy person, I can't say that for sure. Yes, that good also tends to translate into being a bit too agreeable though, which can result in bad outcome for public discourse. So while most people are good, a lot of bad can happen from their kindness.
I think they are mostly good. Don't trust anybody very much until you truly get to know them. No, I think people are selfish and will justify whatever they do.
Everyone has a self-image, depending on whether they think of themselves as good or evil. They may or may not be doing it right. Some people think they are good while they are really doing bad things. Hitler thought he was doing good for his people, for example. Meanwhile, there are people who think that they are bad and want to do bad because they think that's what makes them happy, but fall short. Murderous thug wannabes who still love their mamas and go to church on Sunday. I don't know this. Nobody does anything without self-justification.
After watching a lot of What Would You Do, with John Quinones among other things, I would say yes. People are largely either good or trying to be good. Usually even bad people are trying to do good. In their own mind, like even the nutjobs who want totalitarianism and lower population are doing it to save the planet.
I ask myself that every day.
Let's be realistic. Taking away religion actually took away a reason to be moral to each other. People are nasty. They play mind games, label each other to mock each other, drew a line in the ground and said pick a side, but it's the same side.
Studies have actually proven that people tend to be more aligned with a traditionally good moral compass. It's true that things like politics seem more volatile than ever, but much of that is more and more outlets for speech, and that the loudest people tend to be the ones that don't question their own ideas and therefore feel high amounts of confidence in what they say. By contrast, those that do question themselves often do so because they are more careful and considerate of others, or don't want to say things they know they don't fully understand, so we don't tend to see them comment or make announcements quite so often. There is, however, a general sense of kindness people tend to have toward one another in a societal sense. No one wants to be the bad guy. Few people actively strive to make others miserable unless they have some underlying condition. Truth is, the outliers really are so loud as to make it sound like they're in the majority.
I don't think I've ever thought most people are good. I've always believed most people are selfish and will act in their best interest. As I aged, it just proved itself more and more. I've never understood how people assumed otherwise. Like, look at the world.
I assume most people are like me. I am fundamentally good, but also selfish. I want other people to be happy, but I care about my own happiness more than others. I would never hurt someone for no reason, but if it's a choice between hurting you and hurting myself, I will hurt you.
In the words of Luke Bryan, I believe most people are good and most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood.
It seems like people are more narcissistic nowadays. Edit or social media is just giving the narcissistic people a platform.
You are correct. It's not an American thing, it's a global thing. Humans are the worst species on the planet. Even the best of us have it in us to be cruel when pushed. We are becoming morons thanks to the push from the left-wing lunatics.
I don't know. I haven't met most people, but I assume they're not.
No. People are the product of the wood that surrounds them. The people in charge have not wanted healthy things for us for a long time. We will riot and revolt soon. Asterisk looks at the calendar for National Revolution Day.
No, the vast majority of people are self-righteous, entitled. You can't tell me to do anything. I'll do what def and K I like twats. I am H.O. There are way too many people, and Armageddon cannot arrive quickly enough.
People are awful.
No, most people are not good. That is why things like communism will never work. Most people will not put effort into doing things for the greater good, or for other people. Some people will, most people won't.
Every single human has capacity for good and evil.
I think the majority of humans aren't just smart, and half or more also live in a deluded bubble. This may look like not being good, but it's more a lack of growth, or awareness, or IQ, or all.
I want to believe most people are good.
I think most people are good because they know that there are consequences to being bad. Take those consequences away and polite society disappears. It's why everyone prior 1900 carried dirks, sword, canes, and pistols. Politeness used to be enforced by actual force.
No, people are born evil. That's why we respond to negativity better than positive, especially when we are down or upset. We like to feed our negative feelings. Hell, when I was still pure, I used to think the most nicest people in the world had glasses until that was a person I came into conflict with. That shit flipped my world upside down.
Not really. I think people are inherently selfish. In my experience, almost everyone will try to exploit you in some way, especially if you are an agreeable type.
I honestly think 90% of the world's population is good.
Our perception of things is always changing. We are aging, and depending on your own life's experiences, you will look at the world drawing from the things you've done, relationships you've had. Personally, I believe that most people are good, and I attribute that to the fact during my lifetime, people have been very good to me.
I think everyone's trying their best. Things are hard and scary and confusing, and sometimes we make mistakes or hurt people. Some people even find themselves in situations where they feel they have no option but to do horrible things. But I think pretty much everyone is really trying to be good.
I'm a good person. That only show a select few, because it has to be someone who can appreciate and return the positive. And those are far and few.
No, humans are inherently evil. We have to strive to be good also. Doing good isn't the same as being good.
Not an American thing. It is everywhere, more so in developing countries, where people had to struggle a lot more through their life. All those bad experiences can affect the way they act.
I think so. Most just live a moderate lifestyle with good. Most are helpful. I think things in life like trauma, addictions, struggles can make a person bad, especially unforgiving and closed off heart. When a person is not in a good place themselves, it's hard to produce good, especially things like poor mental health or high stress create barriers. People make bad decisions whether they're envious, big ego to maintain, or keeping up an image. From this, some bad can develop in a person because it will consume them. It's okay to make mistakes as long as one owns up to it, learns and chooses to good.
I think most people are neutral. They'll do good things if it does cost much in the way of time, money, and/or effort. Many of those same people will do bad things if there's minimal risk to them, but aren't going to actively try to hurt others. Of course, there needs to be some clear definition of good and bad, as that can depend based on how, where a person is raised, and I'll try to think of one later. Not in the least. That's my observation. Greed is our undoing.
I see the worst in people and trust nobody due to the bullying I faced in school.
No, they are not.
Most people put themselves first, as they should. TBH, human instinct, survival of the fittest, and all that. Good is more subjective. I consider myself a good person, but if it's you or me, I'm prioritizing me. People seem more entitled now though, and expect others to bend for them when they wouldn't reciprocate. I see this every day.
I don't think that most people are good. I think most people have good in them, but they choose to live suppressing that because it benefits them. Why should they be good? Might help them sleep better, but they value other things over that, and that's that.
I agree. I used to think so, but not so much anymore. That doesn't mean it's too late though. All people are part of a feedback loop. Give good to your neighbours, and you will be the positive change that you're seeking in the world.
I think everyone wants to be good, or at least not be bad. But that doesn't mean we are. So truthfully, I don't think there's a way to determine that.
I think it's more of a most people want easy. While they aren't directly evil, like the mustache-twirling kind, they are, however, unaware of the repercussions of actions and ideas. Several studies have shown that well above a majority of people struggle to understand hypotheticals and steps past 1 and 2, so if it's not happening to them and immediately recognize it, they do not understand it. That immediately explains a lot to me at least, and you slap that on people's natural proclivity too. Take the oath of least resistance and you have a recipe for disaster, because being good is bloody hard. Most people don't want to suffer any inconvenience, or so anything that's hard, and it's only getting worse, especially as society's ability to delay gratification slowly gets worse as well.
Not one bit.
Nope. I think everyone has the potential to be good at heart, but that's not always the path we all choose. And being good is relative to the situation. Giving money to the homeless is a good thing, right? But if you only do it to look like you're a good person to other people cause you record that, are you really a good person or just a funny? Are you a bad person cause you steal food to feed your starving family? No, but to be a thief isn't right either. Who measures goodness in this scenario? Cause certainly both sides of a war think they're the good guys, right? No is my answer, because I've lived long enough to see the truth of that.
I like to think most people are good. However, all people are inherently selfish. Many people are empathetic, yet when they hear of ill tidings in far-off lands, they are commonly apathetic. To be good is really subjective. Now, if the people you are around seem more selfish as you grow, it's more than likely that they have always been that way, and the facade of selflessness has finally begun to erode. But are they bad people because of it? Perhaps not. Simply being selfish is not bad per se, when that selfishness harms others, and there was malicious intent behind the action, then, yeah, these people are the definitive representation of bad.
I also used to think so. But I don't anymore either. Good and evil is a human construct that has no meaning outside of human civilization. People are humans. The things they do can be good or bad. Most people are self-serving and self-interested.
I don't think people are innately bad, because when there's an emergency, more often than not, people rally to help. That said, I think as a species, we have overstimulated ourselves, have too many material things, too many choices, too much information that is difficult to sort real from not, just, too much. I am not saying this is necessarily a bad thing, but just like how the rich tend to lose touch with the reality of things, I think we are as well in a different way. Though many try not to, I feel it still happens to some degree.
No. All humans are corrupt from the root. https://www.gotquestions.org/total-depravity.attl.
I think humans are fundamentally inclined to behave themselves and be decent to those around them, or a tribe simply couldn't exist. But I do think that extensive social factionalization and the obfuscated nature of online arguments are currently bringing out the absolute worst in people.
Yes, if not there would be more people doing bad things.
I'm biased after retiring from corrections. I have a deep distrust and dislike of people.
No, I don't think it's just an American thing. The whole world over people are arseholes. The only difference between them is how much of an arsehole they are. I do think there are good people in the world, but not enough to tip the balance.
Yep. Majority of anyone you meet is self-centered. In an argument they aim to destroy your life. In money they aim to belittle you. In business they aim to control you. In competition constantly. While the rich are cooperating. We got this culture of doing anything to be better than the next person, and it's mind-blowing because no one is truly better.